So, happy late Sunday morning to you, depending on when you're watching this. I don't know what day it is for you, but it's Sunday for me. And the good news is the tool is available on Spotify and streaming services. The bad news is it's 1 billion degrees. As you can see, I've been out here for about 5 minutes. So, what I'm gonna make a video of here today, as per the title, other than being super sweaty, is showing you updated version 2.0 of my wheel cleaning process, wheel, tire, and also I guess wheel well cleaning process, and how I now do that with the change in some products, or I guess the addition to the availability in the store of Hyde Serum Rustopper for you guys. I've been using it for, shoot, a long time. I don't know how many years, but quite a few. So let's get, I'm gonna get my bottle set up. So you can buy this. You know, I offer it in 32-ounce bottles, but I'm putting it in my press-all bottles. Good news is version 2.0 of the press-alls are in process, so hopefully I'll have those at some point in the not-too-distant future, and hopefully have some replacement tips for the tips that have failed. And I don't know, we'll figure out what version 3.0 of the press-all stuff looks like after we get a hold of version 2.0. So anyway, I like to have my wheel cleaner straight up in a bottle, a spray bottle like this, so I have it if I need it. And I'll hang this on the side of my bucket. Straight up, no dilution. I don't know why you would really need to dilute this stuff. It's cheap enough. So I don't dilute it. I just use it straight up. Same thing with Hyde Serum Rustopper, and so I got my two products ready. Of course, if you didn't watch the video of me talking about the new Brake Buster product, at least new to me, not new to the world, but I use this for wheels and tires now, so I have a single solution that I use for that. But we're gonna mix this up for use in the foam cannon, and I've got a brand new PF22. I've been using my old school original MTM foam cannon for years. Shoot, however long foam cannons have been around. How old is that sucker? It's probably 9 years old. It's this one over here and it still works. I've never done any maintenance, haven't done anything to this. Well, you can see it's all oxidized. The knob still works. This one uses a lot more product, blows through more product, kind of like, they sell a newer version of this, which is, I believe, the same design as the original design. But this one uses a lot more water and product much more quickly than the PF22 does. So I'd always suggest using this. You use less soap, less, in this case, wheel cleaner, and you get better foam. So it's kind of a win-win. The only disadvantage is this one doesn't stand up very well. But we're working on the next version of this, where they have a new design so that it doesn't do that. It's just too front heavy. You could always put a different bottle on it and that would solve the problem. So let me put some water in here. All right, that looks like it's about halfway filled. This doesn't have to be exact. Unlike using something like an IK foamer, you don't have to have some crazy exact amount. You could probably dilute this more. I'd rather have it be a little stronger. And I don't know, you can probably use it straight up. I haven't tried it. It just seems to work really well, 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 or 50% or whatever you want to call this. It's just the way that I use it. Now, here's one big advantage of using wheel cleaner in your foam cannon versus regular soap. I don't know if it's because it's a little bit more aggressive chemically, but if I put like pH neutral soap in my foam cannon and I use half the foam cannon, let it sit on the shelf for a week, come back and try to foam again, I'll get really watery, really crappy foam. With wheel cleaner, we're probably only going to use on the wheels maybe a quarter or maybe a fifth of the bottle here on my 4 wheels in the M3, and you don't need to worry about the water neutralizing the foaming capability of the wheel cleaner. At least I haven't noticed that. So depending on how hard your water is. In other words, when I'm using car soap, I need to mix up a new batch every time. when I'm doing this, I feel comfortable just leaving it in there. It works well. All right, so now we've got our wheel and tire product mixed and ready to go. I probably should have mixed this up before I put the top on. All right, so here's just to give you an idea of how dirty the wheels are. And now these are coated, so there's dirt on my finger, right, if you want to call that dirt. And then you can see the Brembos. I already kind of swiped it a little bit here, but you can see the Brembos have, you know, brake dust. So this is pretty typical for me on how dirty my, you know, wheel wells and tires and wheels are. And so I know that some people have dirtier applications, and you know, if you were out at the track or something like that, or you were really aggressively driving for, you know, a week at a time. It hasn't rained since I put these wheels on, so I wish all my cars are pretty clean right now. So I wanted to show you a real dirty application, but it's more process. The process won't change. The process will be the same. That's the reason why we're going to use a wheel cleaner, as so that we can get, you know, stuff like this off the surface. So a couple of ways we could do this. We could spray our wheel cleaner on dry. We could foam it dry. We could spray it off and wet the surface first. And then of course we'd have the option to, after it's wet, to spray it with a regular spray bottle or the foam cannon. I like to blow everything out, get everything cleaned up prior to putting any wheel cleaner on. Of course, we're going to be diluting the wheel cleaner then, so it technically won't be quite as effective, but I like getting all the brake dust, all the dirt and grime off. You know, another advantage is, you know, I don't want to scratch my wheels if I can help it. And so the more stuff I can get off the surface, it's the same concept as with the paint. The more stuff I can get off the surface, the better. And part of the reason to wax or coat your wheels is to hopefully make it so that they are easier to clean, so that I don't have to use as much work. All right, foam cannon turned all the way up. Notice this stuff, it's not going to stick very well to the wheels because the wheels are coated, but this stuff foams like crazy. If I got the foam cannon going a little bit, I would get even more foam. I don't really worry about getting it on the paint, on the surface of the paint. I'm going to take my Incredibrush, Microfiber Incredibrush. I'm going to hit all the areas that I can reach. I have found that this is relatively touchless as well. That, you know, as good as touchless can be, meaning I'm not agitating the product, but your wheel cleaner is never as effective as actually, you know, cleaning the surface, agitating the areas of the wheel well and the space of the wheel. I find that it's never as effective as actually doing this process where I'm cleaning with tools rather than trying to just wing it. Hit my lugs with the Incredibrush, or I'm sorry, my Incredibrush, the RaceGlaze XL. I also tend to get in here. Lambskin Mitt, finish it up. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I didn't do the wheel well. So another common question is, will this affect my coating? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I guess any kind of soaps or any product that you're using on the surface, even regular water, will degrade your coating over time. But will it take it off quickly? Certainly not. And I think you can use this on any kind of wheels. Do a test spot. Don't do it hot. You know, follow all the normal simple rules that would apply when cleaning wheels and brakes. Otherwise, you may end up with spotting from the product. But this product is a lot simpler than others. It just works. So now, what I would generally do, I'm going to clean the wheel wells real quickly here. Gosh, I've either got to get rid of these wheels or lower it. I'm probably just going to get rid of these wheels. See how much my gap is. And then for tires, I just take my spray bottle, put a little bit more on. Now tires, I don't want super aggressive tire cleaning. You know, I spent all my time with the aggression using Stoner's Terminator to get my tires prepped. I don't want to remove all of the mold and I guess all the inhibitors and all the chemical that's in the tire. I don't want to remove all of that. I just want to keep it clean. And I also don't want to yank all my pearl off. I just want to get the surface dirt off the car. So that's it. Process is eliminated one product, and we have a clean wheel, clean surface, no issues, no dirt. You know, you could probably do if you're doing a real superficial cleaning, you could probably go and spray the stuff on there and just spray it off with your pressure washer and get it, you know, 80% clean. But I prefer to agitate, get all the tight areas, try to keep my rotors devoid of buildup, and then also try to hit little tight areas of my caliper, keeping my fancy looking calipers as clean as possible, tight in here. So let's go do the rear, and then I'll finish the other wheels off camera, and then we'll talk about the final process. So we're not going to spray Hydes on here yet. I guess we could. I mean, I guess you could hit it with some, but I don't generally like to waste the product because I'm going to keep the car wet while I'm washing it. I'm going to wash the whole car, but I guess you could hit it with some Hydes. Now, depending on where you are, I mean, we're in ultimate humidity conditions. Like, it's as humid as possible right now. It's probably 90+% humidity in Central Florida, so the rotors are going to rust quicker than maybe other areas of the world. And so this product, the P&S Brake Buster, does have rust inhibitors in it, but I find that it's still necessary to use the combination of both. Hydes isn't super expensive. You'll use a gallon of it will probably last you years. So it's like one of those steps that, you know, takes 2 seconds, that doesn't cost a lot, that I find helps the process. So let's go do the rear. Same deal here. So a couple of things to remind you, cars always look clean on camera. Both camera, video camera, and still photos. So the car is a lot dirtier than it may appear, as always. I wish it was as clean as people think the cars are all the time. Like, being in Central Florida, the cars are dirty almost every day. I think this car will be dirty the second that I drive it. I don't even get like a half a day. You know, there's nothing wrong with Adams Tire and Rubber and Adams Wheel Cleaner if you have it. I don't think there's any reason to rush out and change the process. There's nothing wrong with really any wheel cleaner. Sometimes, I mean, for most people, you probably don't even need a wheel cleaner. I like to have a wheel cleaner. I feel like it maintains my wheels better. And when I have little quirks like having these, having rust inhibiting properties or capability, and having the ability to do my tires as well with the same product, it kind of simplifies my process a little bit. And who knows, maybe I'll change the process again. Shoot, rogue lib. That's no good. I've said this, you know, hundreds and hundreds of times. This is just my process. And you know, I'm learning this with like shopping for mountain bike parts and shorts and things like that. I want somebody who has vetted it and tested it and tried all kinds of stuff to just tell me what to frickin' buy. It makes me want to go start a mountain bike supply business because it's almost too easy. Just tell me what to buy, and then I'll buy it, and then I'll try it and see if I like it. But give me, you know, narrow it down for me. Give me some options, and that's what I'm hoping to do here. So, you know, I can promise you, anything you buy from me or buy that I recommended is gonna work. It's just a question of whether it works well enough for you. And so, like with mountain bike shorts, I want somebody to just tell me, you know, here are the 3 that I have, and this is the one I like the most. And you know, people try to do it, but for some reason they can't just tell me what to frickin' buy and where to buy it. It'd be even better if they supplied it so that I could just buy it right from them. Same thing with seats and you know, and a lot of the stuff, just like detailing, a lot of stuff is personal. It's your personal preference. And so, you know, if you're an expert in this, then maybe you don't need me. But chances are, whatever I'm telling you to use is going to be pretty legit. And then, you know, I'm just choosing what you know, what I like, what works. You know, there are some logistics that goes into me choosing something, but you know, I wouldn't be putting this in my store if I wasn't using it. I use it every time. That's my story. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like these wheels. Something about them just doesn't seem right. I'm so darn picky. Kind of makes it fun. If I was done with the car day one, then what else am I going to do? You know, I don't hate the idea of doing one of these, couple little squirts. In fact, I just changed the process right there, right now. The P&S might help with rusting over while I'm going through the process of cleaning the car, but that's maybe not a bad deal. See, I never carried these 2 along with me because I usually had some sort of foam cannon or foamer, and then I had my tire cleaner and then wheel cleaner. Now I only have 1 wheel cleaner, so now it seems to make sense where I can just kind of carry my setup like this. I like my tools in a bucket. I don't like to use soap and water and wheel cleaner in a bucket. It's just too messy. I like this process where I hold this. I probably use less water going around the car than if I filled up a 5 or 6 gallon bucket. So for you environmentalists, I think I'm choosing the right option. You know, this does, you know, say 3 gallons a minute. I mean, how many? I might have a minute, maybe 2 minutes of total spray time on this whole car, the whole surface from, you know, all the way around. So let's do the exhaust tips too on camera, and I'll finish it up the other 2 wheels. I'm gonna then wash the car on camera or off camera, and then I'll come back to you and show you the final process of finishing up and how I treat, you know, normal steel rotors, and we'll wrap up talking about how we would treat carbon ceramics. So I hit the exhaust tips the same with the same stuff. I don't worry about foaming it. The Dynon exhaust isn't particularly pretty, so there's not a lot to, I don't really worry about getting down underneath too much. I just kind of hit the tips just so we don't end up with soot buildup. And this is where a lot of times, just depending on the car, having the small easy detail brush, like if you get my whole wheel package, having the small one, I find I use it on certain cars more than others. So like on the tips for the GT3, I'll get out the Lambskin mitt, but for this one, all I need is that. That's it. That's the extent of what I need. So let's talk a little bit about carbon ceramics and how this would change. So if I'm doing my GT3 or now the M5, or someday I'd like to put the F80 carbon ceramics on this car. So if I'm dealing with carbon ceramics, I don't have as much cleaning need. So you could eliminate a wheel cleaner and just stick with soap of some sort. Again, I find that this is like a soap for wheels because it has a lot more lubrication, foams a lot better than other options out there. I still will probably play with some dilutions, maybe a little more, maybe a little less in the bottle, the foam cannon. I've been using this probably 4 or 5 months. And you can see I just did 2 wheels. And we only used, I mean, I only had it filled up to here, so I've only used, you know, a little bit, maybe an 1/8 of a bottle, something like that. So if you're doing carbon ceramics, same process, but I find the most important part is the blowout part. You know, that's where your carbon ceramics tend to leak. So I like to blow it out really well with the pressure washer first, then foam it and then clean it just like normal. I don't know where people started these rumors or these things that have come up with, you know, don't use this or that on carbon ceramics. Maybe acid, I guess, but I don't know why you would need a wheel acid anyway. I mean, that's kind of 1980s, 1990s, early 90s stuff, chemistry. So, you know, wheel acid just really wouldn't be preferred. I mean, I don't know why you would need that, with especially as good as wheel cleaners like this brake buster is. So, no issues with hitting the rotors with pretty much any wheel cleaner I've ever used, and I've used probably 20 of them on carbon ceramics. And just so you can take that old wives' tale and just get rid of it. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. As long as you're not using something crazy, obscure, and acidic, then I think you're fine. And even then, I bet your wheel acid would be fine on it too. I mean, I wouldn't be one to try it, but the only thing that carbon ceramics are more delicate on is if you drop your wheel on it and you crack it, then you're screwed. Other than that, you know, carbon ceramics are actually less worry, less rusting, less issues than you would deal with on a regular steel rotor. So obviously we don't need hides on a carbon ceramic either. We can just stick with you know, just blow it off and walk away. But I do use the P&S. I probably use it every other wash, maybe every third wash, because a lot of times I'll just foam it with a soap and do a really quick surface cleaning with my carbon ceramic wheels, because the wheels are always coated anyway. So I'm going to go and finish up, and then I'll show you the final steps of the process that I go through, which would be to spray with hides again, blow it off, and then pull back and forward. All right, so here we go. No rust yet. I don't see any. So I just washed the car, hosed off, or you know, pressure washed off the whole thing, and take a little hides. Don't get too worried about it. Just kind of spritz a little bit on there. That's the extent of it. Somebody asked me about what about the back. So you know, that's a darn good point. I don't know the answer to that one. But I did, in the middle of this process, I did come up with a new part of the procedure, and that's to hit it once more in between. So after I've done my cleaning, right, so after I've done the cleaning process using the P&S brake buster, hit it with the hides like you saw me do it, and I'm going to wash the car as normal, and then once the car is all done, just prior to blowing it off, which I'm going to do in a second here, hit it with some hides. So I'm going to go hit all the wheels real quickly. So now I'll dry it off. I know I'm doing this for camera, but normally I would just kind of start blowing off the car. But so the hides have been sitting on there for a minute, and then I go and grab my Ego 580. I'm going to blow it off. And so then we'll come and do our very last step here. I'm going to blow off the entire car, and then we'll come back and do a couple of back and forths and hopefully check the rotors and make sure we don't have any rust. So here's what I end up with. You can see the little pad material left over, but no rusting. So I do end up with whatever dust or residue was left over on the pad, we end up with on the wheel. But now I've got a clean wheel tire combination. And what I'm going to do is put some Carpo Pearl on here and wrap up this project. But before I get into that, I have to dry the car off. So I'm going to dry all the surfaces, use some bead maker, and then we'll come back and I finish the wheels and tires at the very end here as the final part of the wheel cleaning process. All right, let's finish up the process here. Wheel cleaning. I guess I could add bead maker to the process, but generally what I'll do is hit the wheels, hit the rotor. Not the rotor, the darn caliper. Let me get my words right. my towel a little bit, just wipe up the wheel, and then our process is done after we put our Carpo Pearl on. So just to recap, clean it with brake buster with a foam cannon. First I do the wheels, then I do the tires. Don't ask me why, I don't know, it just seems like the right way to do it. Then I'll do the wheel wells, all with brake buster, all with a single product. Hit the wheels, which I just added to my process right now today. Hit the wheels with a little spritz of Hyde Serum Rustopper while we're in the middle of the process. Then wash the car like normal. Then come back, hit the wheels again with some Rustopper after I'm done washing the car. Then blow them off with the leaf blower. Then pull back and forth. Hit the wheels with some bead maker just as maintenance for my coating. And then I've got a separate RaceGlaze brush. This is a different one that I hit with some Carpo Pearl, and I dress the tires like so. And that's the wheel cleaning process. We'll call this version 2.0, since I have changed some things like getting rid of the foam blocks. You do need, I have 20 of these wheel and tire towels, I call them, in the cabinet. I'll use 4 of them, one for each wheel, in this final process here. So that's it, that's the process. I usually grab my other towel that I have on my lap and just hit any little extra. And so now we have a clean, organized wheel. If you watch this video back in 2x, you'll see it doesn't take as long as it might seem, but I'm giving you all the detail here as I usually do. So anyway, wheel and tire package version 2.0, it really helps me out, helps me to make these videos. If you buy this stuff from me, I appreciate all of you that honor the source of, hopefully I'm the source of some information for this stuff. I know I charge shipping, but I'm just giving you whatever UPS charges me. I'm not marking that up. And that's our wheel cleaning process. Now I got to figure out how to get rid of this gap or put the OE wheels back on, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. So let me know if you're local and you want to buy some Titan 7 wheels. I'm sure I can be convinced. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy, more product videos coming up here over the next couple weeks. Thanks for watching.